morning to you, and many thanks for joining us on today's edition of Dominion Sports, coming to you live from Dominion Television. We're situated at Iyagonku, right here in the beautiful city of Ibadan. My name is Boluwaji Ogman. It's time once again to talk sports, to bring in-depth analysis, all of the highlights and exclusive interviews. And of course, quite a lot to talk about on the show this beautiful morning, from the Nigerian National League Super 8 happening over there in Asaba Delta State, to the Flying Eagles, who are currently in Ghana for the Wafu B tournament, to the Super Falcons, who have an important group game today against Botswana. And of course, talk about European football this lovely morning, especially the big one in the United States of America. MetLife Stadium yesterday hosted the big one between Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain. And against all odds, Paris Saint-Germain trashed Real Madrid 4-0. And they're set to face Chelsea in Sunday's finals. These and many more is time to enjoy on today's edition of the show. It's a loaded package. Not forget, the Wimbledon is also still on at SW19, and we have the semi-finalists already. Semi-finals in the women's singles will hold today, and later tomorrow we have that of the men. All of this, including highlights, we have for your viewing pleasure today. Once again, you're welcome on board. Boluwaji Ogman is my name. Still have my brother here. He wasn't here yesterday. I don't know. He was injured yesterday. But thank goodness he's back this morning.
Amazing. Yes, I'm back and it feels good to be back. And I'm so excited to be on the show this wonderful morning. And, you have given us what's on the menu today. And I think it's all loaded for us to enjoy the show. And I just want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy what we have for you this wonderful morning.
Absolutely a whole lot to talk about on the show this beautiful morning. Starting from Asaba Delta State, where the Nigerian National League Board has announced that Delta State University of Science and Technology, Uzoro Delta State, as a replacement for the Austin Okocha Stadium ahead of the final group matches of the ongoing Super 8 playoffs. The Austin Okocha Stadium was replaced due to the poor playing surface of the pitch. Barao Football Club fixture against Doma United and Osun United's game against Kun Khalifat are matches that will be played at that particular venue. Well, Wiki Tourist match with Yobedesa Stars and Wally Wolves vs Crown FC will be staged at the Stephen Kechi Stadium in Asaba. Now, all the matches will be played simultaneously. Don't forget, the matches will kick off at 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. respectively, and of course one is already going on as we speak. But let's break that down for you. Don't forget that the Super 8 is that tournament that determines who eventually is crowned the champions of the NNL and the 4 teams that will gain promotion to the NPFL. Now let's take a look at the screen right beside us. Of course, today we've got Wicked Tourist taking on Yobedesa Stars, and of course Doma United versus Barao Football Club. They're the ones that will play at the venue I mentioned, because the JJ Okocha Stadium that was actually penned down to host this particular game is not good for football. Not good for football. And I'd like us to see that particular stadium as at yesterday when rain fell in Delta State. That is the state of the pitch that was supposed to host that match.
So I'm sure this is not, the stadium. Maybe it's just, a road that leads to the stadium.
No.
I just want to believe.
That's the pitch that was meant to host that match. It's called the Austin J.J. Okocha Stadium.
Wow.
I mean,
and I'm sure Austin J.J. Okocha, I'm sorry, has so good, they named him twice, I should be aware of this situation. And I'm sure...
He didn't rebuild the stadium.
But I think these things, should be done properly going forward, because this is an eyesore for Nigerian football right here. It's really, really,
So you can see better now that it's not the path to the field, actually. It is the field itself.
It is the field itself, and I think it's really sad, and nothing can be done on, such a surface like this. And I think it calls for a questioning. Who are the management? Who are those in charge of, the field of play, the Austin J.J. Okocha Stadium? I think they need to do something better, going forward. It's really disgusting.
The news is that they have the University of Science and Technology in Delta State to come to their rescue for that one. All important game, I must say. Don't forget that this is the last group game that determines who eventually gets promoted to the NPFL.
And to speak about it, Doma United and Barra, they're actually playing. It's 2-0 to Barra. They're leading the first half. And also, Wiki Tourist is total demolition. Firing from all cylinders, 4-0. And you beg to question, what's happening in that group phase, right there. But I'm sure they're not bothered about the field of play. We just need to get the job done in that.
They're already playing someone else. So this is not a problem.
It's not even the problem. So
their problem is on the pitch.
And it's all goes. Wonder scene with an out trick right there. For Wiki Tourist, and I can't understand. Yobe Desert right now is looking like Wiki Tourist are the one. Heading on that group. Stage right there. It's 5 points for them. On the group phase.
Whoa, and for the second one, there you have it on your screen. Osun United later today, 1 p.m. will face Kun Khalifa, and the Warri Wolves will take on Crown FC. Now here's the permutation. Now, Crown FC must win their game against Warri Wolves and hope that Osun United get the best of Kun Khalifa. That's the only way Crown FC can go through.
Okay, so I think I'm sure you must have sat down overnight to run the calculations, for Crown FC, and it begs the question. So I think this is the time we need to do Gibra, board mass, and put things together. But
we love our calculators.
So yeah, but right now the question is, can Crown FC now get all wins against Warri Wolves? I remember that their head-to-head start in the NNL regular season, a 1 win and 1 win for each teams right there. But right now it begs the question, and I'm sure Warri Wolves also at the need, at this point
they
also.
Had a fantastic regular season.
Yes, they did.
I'm sure they don't want to mess it up
at this point in time. So, it's all to play for, for all teams right there. And also, we are hoping that Osun United also can, knock out Kun Khalifa. But Kun Khalifa also, they want to be on the top flight of football in the NPFL come next season. So, it's all to play for. And I'm sure, our eyes will be gazed on the game right there in the Southern Conference.
All right. Our eyes will definitely be gazed and be hopeful that Osun United will do the work of the Lord. And Crown FC will also get their own job done to ensure that we have them in the NPFL come next season. Let's move away from that and talk about the Flying Eagles. Nigeria under-20 squad. They are bidding for yet another regional title when they open their campaign against host Ghana in the 2025 WAFU B under-20 boys tournament later today. Nigeria will trade tackles with Ghana, in the opening match of Group A later at the Pram Pram Center in Accra, Ghana. Now, the team, led by coach Aliyu Zubair, are the reigning champions of the tournament, having claimed the last 2 editions hosted in Nigeria Republic and in Togo. Now, leading the team will be their inspirational captain, Daniel Bameye. Bameye and 19 others, selected by coach Aliyu Zubair, will use this particular tournament as part of their long-term preparations for the big one coming up later in September. That's the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Chile. Well, very important that we, prepare very well with this one so that Chile won't be a major issue for us. Don't forget that we qualified for Chile World Cup courtesy of our third place finish at the CAF Under-20 AFCON held earlier in the year, actually 2 months ago, held in Egypt. Now, the experienced players, of course, the experience gathered during the AFCON, Under-20 AFCON, and this one will definitely help them and see them through to the World Cup later on. We wish the boys all the best. A few words for the boys?
Yeah, like you said, we wish them all the best. And I hope that, Coach Aliyu Zubair will be able, to select, a perfect team going into this competition. And also remember, the site is for Chile. And we want to have the best legs, the best, players of mentality, of physicality, of discipline to represent, Nigeria in the top stage right there.
Honestly, this shouldn't be an issue for the boys at all. Just like I mentioned earlier, we've won it back-to-back. I mean, with the biggest when it comes to that on the continent. In our region, actually. Well, because if you talk global. Ghana have won the Under-20 World Cup, and we've not even won it. But then, at this point, we've dominated, and we want that to continue. Of course, Coach Aliyu Zubair is still speaking. He has acknowledged that the Flying Eagles, had minimal preparations, preparation time going into this WAFU B tournament. Don't forget that the team were earlier scheduled to take part in this competition a few weeks ago, but because the organizers weren't sure, they had to disband our Under-20 team. They went back home, and then all of a sudden they're saying, get back into time and let's go into that competition. But he's promised that all things being equal, the boys will have what it takes, to go out there and make Nigeria even proud. Well, the high-profile Group A game against Ghana might just be the major issue for our boys. But then our coach is saying, no need to fret. We've got what it takes to defeat the Ghanaians, the host team. Ghanaians have always been an issue to Nigeria. Actually. But then, I believe that we will get the job done. Well, Zubair was saying this during the pre-match press conference held yesterday. Zubair revealed that the team had to, put things together in few hours, honestly, to get them actually prepared. I must say that the head of the delegation to Ghana is ex-international, Felix Owolabi, actually led the team down to Ghana. And of course, as an ex-international, leading the youngsters there, I'm sure that they'll be pumped up to make us pretty proud. Starting with the game against Ghana. The Flying Eagles are entering the tournament as defending champions, having defeated Ghana in the final of the last edition held in Togo. Now, today's opener not only marks the start of their title defense, but also reignites one of Africa's most iconic football rivalries. That's Ghana and Nigeria. With Group A consisting of just 3 teams, that's Nigeria, Ghana, and Benin Republic, every point will carry significant weight in the race to secure a semi-final berth. Well, you said it earlier. Yeah. All the best to the boys.
All the best to the boys.
Let them go and get the job done. Zubair has done his best. Yeah. It's left for the boys to come and show us that they have what it takes to be crowned the champions of WAFU once again. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Super Eagles B team. Now, Nigeria's preparations for the 2024 African Nations Championship holding in Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya, have been hit by the withdrawal of 7 players from the squad. Now, here's the news. 5 players, Abubakar Sadiq of Plateau United, Philip Adejo of Abia Warriors, Sadiq Isaac from Rangers, Papa Daniels Mustafa of Niger Tornadoes, and Aliu Ojetoye of Ikorodu City have been ruled ineligible after they secured transfers to clubs outside Nigeria, and thus violating the CHAN rule that permits only players active in their home domestic leagues. Now, according to the media officer speaking yesterday, Promise Ofohe, now 2 additional players, that's Ifeanyi Onyebuchi of Rangers International and Ebenezer Harcourt of Sporting Eagles have also been ruled out due to injuries. Now, Toluan, let's talk about this. I don't know if it was yesterday or 2 days ago, we're talking about this to say one of the things that is affecting us as a country, Nigeria, in this competition, because we've never won CHAN, right, is because we're unable to keep our players at home. Yeah, that's true. And that was I think it was yesterday's discussion. Yeah. No, it wasn't 2 days ago.
Actually, it was yesterday. It
was yesterday, right?
Yeah, yesterday.
So we're talking about it, and one thing that I raised was that most times you are preparing a team. Just when you're about to get into a competition, they see the deal abroad, and they are ineligible to play for us again for CHAN, and it's happening again.
I think, for me, I don't know why these players and the agent are acting this way. I can understand that, they want to be, in the European football scene right there, and maybe time, would not permit them to secure that deal, for the players. Everybody wants the money in their pocket quickly.
I was about to say that. So can you really blame them?
Actually, you can't blame them, and you can't blame the agent who is securing that move, outside, Nigerian football. But I think so. It begs the question: are you fighting for the badge? Or are you fighting for the money? But
I think we need to break it down really well, honestly, because now these are the players that have been training for this competition for a while.
That's true.
But then the sealed moves away from Nigeria.
Just
weeks before the competition.
So
sealed moves out of Nigeria, and honestly, looking at the socio-economic factor here. You move.
Yeah, you move. That's the thing.
We're talking better pay, better welfare.
Environment. You enjoy good football. But now the question is not affecting the team, because right now these are key players. That can bring in improvement.
Those are our best players in that team.
Players in the team. So having them out of the squad is a whole lot. So you don't have the coach trying to reshuffle.
Yeah.
What do we bring in? How do we put things in place? So I can understand that the factor with the money movement, the economic, like you said, can make them move. But I don't know how the agent can try to, stall a little bit if they can.
When European teams will stall for you, there is a window.
There's a window. So if If your player cannot come, I'm sure we have other best legs out there that can, do the business for us. If you can bring in this player,
But the point
right
is,
there.
do we have enough time?
You have enough time, to fill up now.
Them.
So that's the thing. In that begs the question. So how do we now restructure, these things? How do we put things in place?
Ensure that it
doesn't happen, often again. So I think we just need to put things in place going forward.
It's administration. It's those in the place of authority to say, let's make our league
better.
Yeah,
because I'm sure if someone like Papa Mustafa Daniel is earning, massively and is enjoying football, in Nigeria, trust me, he would want to be part of the team also.
So you must have heard this name before, Gambo Mohamed. Gambo Mohamed is a legend in Nigerian Premier Football League, all right? He was captain of Kano Pillars for a very long time. And currently, he's even in the coaching crew of Kano Pillars. He's a legend there. So I remember that day, I think it was like 6 years ago, while it was still actively played, and I was talking to him, I was like, Gambo, you're good. You play for the home-based Eagles. He has even been invited to the main Eagles before, right? As an home-based player. Yeah. Never left the shore of country. I was asking like, Gambo, don't you get offers from other African countries or European clubs? Yeah. And I was like, why do I want to go? I'm well taken care of here. I mean, I'm getting a very good pay. As a footballer, everything is fine. Why do I need to leave?
Why do I need to leave?
You understand? And that's why he never left while playing. And now that he's retired, he's still
enjoying it.
And if other clubs can do the same, can do the same.
True.
We won't have issues like this.
True.
But that's one of the reasons we've never won the chance. You see
Senegal
winning. You see Morocco winning.
Because they're own best players. So the chemistry, they understand themselves better. And I think it works for them. But for Nigeria, I think it's somewhat, we just need to put the structure right going forward.
All right, so it is what it is. Just like we said, it's something that administrators need to look into and ensure that we make the league interesting for these boys. And how do you make it interesting? Financially rewarding for them. Yeah. Let's have a good salary cap for them. True. Say, this is the amount, this is the least you can play a player in the Nigerian Premier Football League. And see, honestly, they will wait. They will wait. They also want to be here at home. I mean, all of those things we have to put in place. But then, at the moment, the camp is still open. They're camped in Ekene. 28 players are currently in camp. And because 2 other players joined yesterday, Anthony Ijoma joined yesterday, and Sunday Miguel also joined yesterday. Well, fingers crossed. We'll see what comes out of this. The competition starts next month. Let's see. Hopefully, will bring out something good for me. Let's go to the Falcons, where their coach, Justin Madrigal, insists that he's focused on leading Nigeria to a 10th continental title at the ongoing WAFCON tournament in Morocco, as the Super Falcons face Botswana in their second group game later today at 8 p.m. The Super Falcons wasted little sweat, in dispatching Tunisia 3-0 in their first group game of the campaign, and will book an early slot should they win today. Yeah, that's an early slot to the quarterfinals, right?
Actually.
If they pick the maximum points later on today, same stadium, the Labi Zauli Stadium in Morocco. Now, Botswana comes into this game still nursing their 1-0 defeat to Algeria in their first group game. The same day, the Falcons trashed Tunisia 3-0. You remember that day? Asad Oshoala scoring the first, debutant Risola Babajide scoring the second, and Chinwendu Hiozo scoring the third goal. Now, 3 years ago, during the 12th edition of this particular competition, hosted by the same country as Morocco, the Falcons scored a goal in each half. And I remember it was Ifema Odemono and Chris Ochebu who got the 2 goals for the Falcons to turn the hopes of Botswana to ashes on that particular day. Now, a win for Nigeria again today will see us, of course, move straight to the quarterfinals. Let's quickly listen. Well, they had the press conference yesterday, the press conference yesterday, and of course, trust us for all of the updates. Let's enjoy a bit of the presser. I will be back.
Yeah, we respect our opponent.
It's better so that we can even play better than what we had in the last game. There will always be errors. Even sometimes, even change of personnel can determine a lot of things. There are health factors. A lot of factors come into play. So, like Chiamaka said, we know they lost their first game, and they will want to come out and ensure that they get something out of it. We too are aware that we're not resting on our oars. We know what we have come here to do, and we cannot achieve that target without winning all our games. So it's a win-win for us as far as we are concerned. We know what to do, and we are hoping to get the best out of the match tomorrow.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah, please.
Yeah, for Chiamaka, my name is Samuel Amadu from Nigerian football. Chiamaka, I don't know how you feel. The first time we met, we had a clean sheet. You've opened the championship with a clean sheet, and as much as it's widely celebrated, and for the feat you've recorded, how are you looking forward to another challenge against Botswana? One, we know they've not won in their last 5 games. We've managed to stay unbeaten in our last 5 games. What's the challenge for you, like, especially in that keeping clean sheets probably throughout the championship will definitely be one of the biggest major targets?
Yeah, before we came to this tournament, we already set out a goal that we want to achieve, and I mean, it's not something I'm gonna start saying now. I mean, it's left to us. But at the end of the day, just like I said earlier, it's not gonna be an easy game. 2022, we're also in the same group with Botswana, and they lost 2-0 to us, and they also lost their first game against Algeria, and I know they're gonna come out strong this time, because this game against Botswana is gonna be like a final, because if they win, they'll win the game. If they lose, they're out of the game. So I think they will come out with everything they have to make sure we don't win the game. But we are mentally and physically strong. We are ready for this. We are prepared for this. Just like I also said in the beginning, it's not going to be an easy game. We respect them. They have good players. We've watched them couple of times. But yeah, we'll just continue to do what we know how to do best, and we'll make sure tomorrow we'll go home with 3 points again.
Yes.
All right, Coach, I know definitely this might be a tall order for you, especially knowing that Botswana had very good credentials, performing well in their first edition, reaching the quarterfinals. So for you, having won your first game and also broken the jinx of not winning our first game in the last 2 editions since 2016, I don't know how much of a burden is it on you that you want to ensure we continue this clinical form that you started on, and ensuring that, yes,
according to Coach Justin Madugu, and of course, Chiamaka Nnadozie, our goalkeeper, is also promising 3 points later tomorrow. Toluwani, here you have it. The girls are talking tough already. I mean, the focus is on Mission X.
Yeah, Mission X, and just Madigo has said, we can't rest on our oars right now, and we need to pick up all victory, and that's why we're here. We have promised Nigeria that we're going to get, at the 10th AFCON title back home. Be the first to place our hand on the new trophy, and also, try to make Nigerians happy.
Absolutely.
Because we know what football can do, to the Nigerian
That's
system.
the only thing that unites
right here,
us.
yes, that's the only thing that unites us and gives us, much love in the country. And also, Chiamaka Nnadozie also, spoke about this having to be like a final, because Botswana also, if they end up losing this game, I think it's done and dusted for them. So they want to come out gun blazing, and make things right. But for me, I just want to see good flowing football right there, and maybe a little change of Rasheedat Ajibade not playing the midfield. I can understand that it's experiment. Let's see if she can fit into another position, because Babajide is doing something great on that flank. But let's another tweak into it. Let's say a new style of football, and let's say how far, because for me, we didn't really get the feel of Rasheedat Ajibade in the system. In the first game right there, it was more Babajide, Konko, Oshwala, and the likes like that. It's a team effort. Not taking anything away, from that system, but let's see, new changes, and let's enjoy free-flowing football, and we hope for the best, for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. We are rooting for Youth Mission X all the way to the final, and we're hoping you get all 3 points. And I think it's done and dusted, straight to the quarterfinal.
Oh, there you have it. 8 p.m. tonight, we would have that game between Botswana and the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Of course, the other game to look forward to at 5 p.m. is Tunisia versus Algeria. Now, let's take a look at what happened yesterday. Yeah, there you have your screen. Fixtures for today, Tunisia, Algeria at 5 p.m. and Nigeria and Botswana at 8 p.m. Let's take a look at what happened yesterday in the competition. There you have it. Zambia 3-2 against Senegal. no doubt about the quality of Zambia. They proved to us that they did one of the best.
These are really the threats right now for the Super Falcons going into this competition. If Zambia cannot be knocked out, I think we have a strong test to face.
Why do you want Zambia to be knocked out?
No, because
to be the best, you have to beat the best.
Be the best, actually. Like you said, but let's say it's obstacle. You can clear your obstacle.
Yeah.
And you pray that somebody else can clear your obstacle for you. And it's easy pass for you. That's life. That's
why do you want it all easy?
No,
right?
Life should be easy.
It should be easy,
hard.
right?
It should not be hard.
Well, it's a game of football. All right, let's take a look at the second game we saw yesterday. And there you have it. Morocco, host nation, of course, got the better of DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, 4-2. And Moroccans are happy at this point.
Yeah, actually.
Finally got the win.
So maybe, for me, I'm happy to see them also, getting a winner. Maybe that would call more fans to the stadium.
I mean, there's been talk about poor publicity in Morocco about this one.
It's really, really poor.
Honestly, they should do better. We saw the kind of crowd that the Mail pulled last year. I mean, unprecedented numbers from TV and, of course, physically as well. Yeah. I mean, at the AFCON last year, I saw at the finals when Nigeria played Ivory Coast, I saw like 3 choppers, right?
Massive.
Flew into Abidjan to watch that particular game that day. I mean, not to talk of the entire stadium,
just filled to the brim.
And of course, billions watching across the globe. Now, here you have it at the table in Group A. Morocco, host nation, back on top. 4 points is what they've gathered after 1 draw and 1 win. Zambia with 4 points as well, 1 draw, 1 win. Senegal, third. DRC Congo seem to be the whipping girls at this point. Well, only time at all. We spoke about the games earlier. Of course, we played. Let's move on pretty fast on the show this beautiful morning. Even if we once again wish our girls all the very, very best. And of course, don't forget that our eyes are actually here because quarterfinals we might be playing someone from here. That's why we had to touch it. Let's talk about this young man on your screen. He's been in the news for the right reasons. Yeah. Galatasaray, we understand, they are still in talks with Napoli to convince them about the transfer of Victor Osimhen after reaching a verbal agreement with Victor earlier this week on a 4-year deal with an annual salary of £14 million. Now, the Turkish giant, that's Galatasaray, have recently opened up to, they've agreed to pay his release clause of 75 million euros. But the issue is that they still need to provide guarantees to convince, Napoli that they are willing to pay the money at once. Galatasaray would not pay the 75 million euros release clause at once. They are offering to pay it 5 times. But Napoli is saying, no, it's a release clause. Trigger it and pay once. If you can't pay once, forget it.
I'm sure, Boluwaji, if you own a club, you won't want somebody to tell you you're going to pay 5 times. Why you pay me 5 times?
They actually do that, right? But most of it doesn't come out in public. It doesn't come out in public. They do that. They pay like 4 or 5 times.
Should we throw the band to us now? I'm sure they like that kind of strategy.
So the thing now is this. But whenever you want to trigger...
a clause.
So the idea about release clauses, clause plays release clause there to scare you off.
Yeah, true,
right?
True.
To make you don't want to pay.
Don't want to pay, yeah.
Most of the time, they're always very, very massive.
Massive.
So they don't want you to pay.
Yeah.
All right. So whenever you say, I want to trigger the release clause, that's like going to the club and saying, name your price.
Name your price. Yeah,
it's like saying, name your price.
Name your price.
So at that point, when you say, I want to trigger that release clause, you must have your cash down.
Immediately.
Don't talk to us about 5 months. No. Or 5 years. No. So that's Napoli's position at the moment to say, yes, we know, understand. Victor wants to go back there. They love him there. He has agreed. They want to pay him like £40 million a year. Yeah. But you must trigger it. Pay cash down. If not, leave the road for better people. And leave the road.
I would say for Victor Osimhen, it's really, for me, it's not a good one to see him back in, Turkey right there.
You don't want him back in Turkey?
I don't want him back in Turkey because...
Talking about you don't want him back in Turkey, I think we should just take this one. Okay. Now, people have actually been warning him. Sunday Olise has said, go to Premier League now or never.
Or never.
Now, I think Osachi has also said, see, you got to try that you're going. I don't understand. Now, someone is also jumping on this one, and it's Rio Ferdinand.
Okay.
I mean, Manchester United legend who is saying, see, Victor is free. United block his move to Galatasaray and bring him to Old Trafford. This boy is needed. Let's listen to Rio Ferdinand.
Top-class striker, one of the top strikers in the world, is absolute peanuts in today's market. So I'll be disappointed if he goes to Galatasaray for that type of money when Man United, I think, are crying out for a number 9. I'll be disappointed to miss out on Gyökeres if we don't get a number 9 in. Yeah. But if we got Osimhen, then I wouldn't be too concerned.
Actually, Rio Ferdinand has been clamoring for...
5 million euro, no be money
it's not actually. But it's not even about the money for me. It's, the quality of Victor Osimhen. He has so much quality and he should be playing in a league where, is respected. No shade to the Turkey league, but they're not in the top 5, leagues in European football.
Right.
And, look at the goals he scored. He could not even get close to the European Golden Boot. Same as Victor Gyökeres also. So these players are trying to put themselves in the limelight, to play, in European football. And it begs the question, what is the situation with Victor Osimhen at the agent? It's been back and forth right now. And for me, it's not the money, it's not the love. You can enjoy the love, in Turkey and all, but I think Victor Osimhen, you have so much quality. We want to see you play in, I'm not even talking about the Premier League, but, there are other clubs offering you, we remember that Paris Saint-Germain also were offering him an offer, right there and all. But
Paris is a no-go now.
It's a no-go now for Victor Osimhen.
Kvaratskhelia is something else.
So my question right now is, Rio Ferdinand calling, for Victor Osimhen to Manchester United. He asked the question, are you playing any European football? Actually for a quality player like Victor Osimhen, he's not going to play in the Champions League, he's not going to play in the Europa League, he's not going to play in the Conference League, he's just going to play in the Premier League. And, it begs the question, I'm not playing in European football, why should I come to Manchester United? Manchester United, a big club, fine, no doubt about that. But come on, United, done and dusted. Maybe they can pick up, the shambles, like Ruben Amorim said, the storm is over. Let's hope that the storm is truly over. But Victor Osimhen, I hope that your agent, can put you through the system quickly. We want you, playing in top 5 European football and not, the Turkish league right there.
Whoa, United, no European football.
Yeah.
And they want a world-class striker. How they dreaming?
Theater of dreams.
Theater of dreams. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Rio Ferdinand, wake up.
Wake up.
Should be talking to the administrators over there. Talk to them.
No, talk to them.
I mean, I think you should look for players who are mid-table strikers.
Yes, at this point in time. So maybe just keep Erasmus Højlund, groom him well, call the likes of them. We're running Van Nistelrooy to help, build up the legs and all. Not Victor Osimhen, come do what?
Victor. Wow. Anyways, let's go on this very quick tennis break and inform you that Novak Djokovic has set up a mouth-watering opening semi-final against world number 1 Yannick Sinner after coming through a tricky encounter against Flavio Cobolli yesterday. Let's enjoy that highlight and we'll be back to break down the Wimbledon quarterfinals even as we look forward to the semi-finals today and tomorrow. Fantastic victory for Big Novak yesterday and, of course, set up a semi-final tie with world number 1, Yannick Sinner. Let's take a look at other results of games played yesterday. Toluwani, Yannick Sinner got his own victory against Ben Shilton. Fantastic one for him.
So it's going to be a mouth-watering game, between Novak Djokovic and Yannick Sinner going into that competition. And so I'm sure, our eyes are gazed, on that game. For me, I'm just hoping that this can give, Yannick Sinner, a victory right there. But it's going to be a tough one because, Novak Djokovic is going, for his 25th Grand Slam title. Right
Absolutely. Iga Swiatek, of course, won also yesterday. Talking about the ladies. Let's take a look at other results. Yeah, we've sorted out already. Yannick Sinner through. And for the ladies as well, let's see. All right, there you have it. Belinda Bencic with a straight-up victory over Mira Andreeva.
Yeah, sure.
Also, let's take a look at the semi-final pairings. Yeah. Yes, because we have them all sealed already for today and tomorrow. Now, for the guys, Yannick Sinner versus Novak Djokovic, and of course, Taylor Fritz versus Carlos Alcaraz. I'm loving this one.
I'm loving this. It looks like a final already.
Yeah.
And, so it begs the question. For me, Carlos Alcaraz has been struggling. For games, there are games where it looks like he's not going to pick up the victory right there, and it comes back. So I think Taylor Fritz can get on that side of Alcaraz in this competition and see how far he can go and extend the game for him, because I'm sure the legs and the arms would be weak, going into that one. But, also Yannick Sinner, Novak Djokovic, mouth-watering game.
For you, your ideal final?
My ideal final is going to be, Carlos Alcaraz and, Novak Djokovic.
I knew you were going to say that. All right. For the girls, Aryna Sabalenka versus Amanda Anisimova. Today, the semi-final will be played, as well as Bencic versus Iga Swiatek. Your ideal final?
It's going to be... I'm going to give it to Aryna Sabalenka and also Iga Swiatek.
All right, let's move straight to the Club World Cup, where Paris Saint-Germain have qualified for the final of this year's FIFA Club World Cup. The Champions League winners progressed with a 4-0 thrashing of Real Madrid in the second semi-final played last night. Just in case you missed that semi-final yesterday, be our guest. What a demolition yesterday. A fantastic one from Paris Saint-Germain. Proved once again that, their victory in Europe wasn't just a flop. It wasn't a fluke, rather. It was a good victory for them. Of course, they will face Chelsea in Sunday's finals of this year's FIFA Club World Cup, the first expanded FIFA Club World Cup. And of course, the news is that U.S. President Donald Trump will be in attendance for the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup final on Sunday in New Jersey at the MetLife Stadium. All right, Tolu, and unfortunately, we can't really talk about this
trust me, I really wish we had so much time.
Tomorrow we'll do that.
I would have just sat down with Madrid and asked questions for tomorrow. I'm sure we'll be loaded with that.
We'll be loaded with that tomorrow. But before we leave quickly, let's take a look at UEFA Euros. Women's Euros yesterday. Interesting games we saw yesterday at the Euros for the ladies. Of course, Wales, they're getting eliminated, honestly. They lost 4-1 against France. England, 4-0 thrashing of Netherlands. Let's take a look at their group standing. At the moment, France are topping their group. That's Group D with 6 points. England 3, Netherlands 3, and of course, Wales 0. And I just also inform you that the head coach of the Brazilian national team, Carlos Ancelotti, has been sentenced to 1 year in prison for tax fraud. But don't worry. He's not going to prison. He's also been fined as well. And there you have the news right here in front of you for tax evasion, but will not have to serve that jail term. And good news for Lyon, because they can now stay in the French League. Yeah, their relegation has actually been reversed following their successful appeal. But that was the size of the show. Toluwani.
Okay, yes, like I said, we had so many things on the menu for you, and I'm sure you enjoyed it to the fullest. So one thing I just need to do every time is just to invite somebody to the show, because we have everything packed up for you. This is why I say my final goodbye. I remain a Bayport Toluwani, the radio paparazzi. See you some other time.
Well, like I said earlier, that's the size of the show. Big thanks to the entire production crew, and bigger thanks to you for watching. We're back tomorrow. Till then, do have a beautiful day and stay safe.